I'm Josh. I'm a park ranger at the Big Cypress National Preserve in Florida, assigned to Ranger Station 3. Long story short, I found myself on the most dangerous place in the forest, a rickety fire lookout we call Wolf Tower. This is the place where many rangers have simply vanished without a trace. My colleagues had a stern piece of advice for me. Never look down when the moonshine is brighter than usual. When I asked them why, they either claimed ignorance or just said they didn't want to scare the new guy. But the story was famous around here. It sounded like a creepypasta or a fairy tale, but some locals swore it was true. Others said it was just a tale our colleges told to test and scare the fresh recruits. Well, I was one of them. The legend. It happened a long time ago. A brave ranger was doing a night shift in this very tower. On the night of a full moon, he heard something frantic over the radio, a scream from a lost hiker. The hiker was being chased by some kind of big furry animal with eyes that glowed in the dark. It had already killed his friend in their tent and was now pursuing him. The ranger, trying to help, gave the hiker the directions and location of the watchtower. Luckily, the hiker successfully found the tower, but he brought something worse, something evil, with him. The ranger climbed down to assist, but at the same moment he saw the man was badly bitten and bleeding. He helped the wounded man climb the tower and started to treat his wounds. But before the night was over, something awful happened inside that small cabin. Both of them went missing. Other rangers later found deep claw marks on the walls, blood and flesh, but no bodies. No one knows what happened. Since that night, the ranger was never seen or found by the department. The night shift. It's a scary story, but I wasn't the type to be easily spooked. I knew I was in the wilderness and I was well trained. That's what I used to tell myself. But that night, I was about to witness something that had been hidden for years. In the middle of the night, I heard growling near my tower. The bushes rustled all around me. I thought it must be a pack of wolves, but after a few minutes, I saw something that chilled me to the bone. Two glowing yellow eyes were staring right at my tower in the distance. I immediately put my binoculars up, but it just vanished into thin air, leaving only the sound of rustling leaves. I was startled, sure, but I didn't feel enough immediate danger to report it. I stayed inside, just as I was instructed. Then something slammed into my tower. The entire structure shook violently. I hurried to look down, but again, whatever it was had vanished. I was truly scared now. I felt it. This wasn't a small animal or a wolf. The impact was massive, like an SUV had hit the tower. It was something big that moved incredibly fast. What could it be? I stayed alert, watching every movement from the inside. Then I heard my ladder begin to creak. My heart suddenly stopped. I shone my flashlight on the direction of the ladder, and there it was, a massive, black, furry creature trying to climb. It had almost reached the top. I was so terrified I froze completely. I couldn't move. I wasn't ready for this. All my training, all my tactics, they were gone. It was like watching death slowly crawling toward you. I panicked, grabbing my gun and firing. The bullets missed. My hands were shaking uncontrollably, but the shots forced it back. It lunged, dropped, and tore off into the woods. Before it disappeared, it looked back, and I saw it. It was like it had marked me and was promising to return. I wondered how I was going to survive. Then, Just a few seconds later, I heard the sound of the other rangers' jeeps arriving. That's why it backed off. It wasn't afraid of me. The aftermath. That was the near-death experience of my life, and it still gives me nightmares when I think about the Wolf Tower. Now, the station and the tower in that location are abandoned. No one ever wants to do a shift there. We officially banned that area and hung clear signboards. Cross on your own risk. We are unable to help if you cross this fence. We built a strong fence to keep people and hikers away from that place. But some stupid teenagers still don't believe what lives on the other side. They cross it, and they face the consequences. I woke up to the smell of wet earth and the sound of dripping rain. My head throbbed. The last thing I remembered was being in our tent with my two friends, laughing over cheap snacks while the storm raged outside. But now I wasn't in the tent. I was lying in the middle of the forest. The storm had passed, but my gear was gone. No tent, no lanterns, nothing. My phone was in my hand, but the screen flickered. No service. Josh? Daniel? I called out, my voice shaking. No answer. I screamed their names until my throat burned, but the only reply was the wind pushing me deeper into the trees. I didn't even know where I was anymore. No map, no compass, just me, my phone, and the endless forest. The rain hadn't stopped entirely. It came in cold, misty sheets, driven by a restless wind. I decided to wait until morning. Wandering blindly in the dark felt like suicide. That's when I found it. Half buried in dirt and tangled in thick vines was a shipping container. Rusty, weathered, almost swallowed by the forest itself. I pushed through the undergrowth and stepped inside. It smelled of metal and dust, but it was dry. For a moment, I felt safe. But safety in the woods never lasts. Without warning, the rain stopped. The wind died, the forest went silent. No crickets, no owls, not even the whisper of leaves. Then I heard it, a low, guttural moan somewhere in the distance, followed by a deep, animal-like growl. Something moved behind a tree. Two glowing red eyes stared at me. My chest tightened. My legs felt heavy. I backed into the container, piled branches and leaves at the entrance until it was completely covered. I sat in the darkness, trying not to breathe. The growl came again, closer this time. Then I heard footsteps squelching in the wet dirt. I peeked through the small gaps in the branches. A figure, tall, thin, two long legs, and arms that seemed far too long for its body. Its movements were jerky, unnatural, like a puppet tugged on invisible strings. And then it spoke, but not in its own voice. It mimicked our voices, the conversations we had in the tent just hours before. My friends' laughter, my own words. I froze. It was playing with me. Metal groaned above me. It was climbing the container. A heavy thud landed on the roof, making it shake. I didn't move, didn't breathe. My heart slammed against my ribs so hard it hurt. After what felt like forever, the thing stopped. The forest sounds returned. The rain began again. When morning came, I stepped outside. The mud bore strange footprints like those of a deer or horse, but standing on two legs. I kept moving, hoping to find my friends. I found one of them, hanging from the branches of a pine tree. Half of him was gone, torn apart, organs missing. His lifeless eyes stared down at me. I wanted to vomit. My chest ached, my knees buckled. I searched for my other friend, praying he was alive. I found him hours later, in the same condition. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tear my own skin off. This was my fault. They had wanted to go to a water park. Stupid, harmless fun. But I wanted adventure. I wanted quiet. The mountains, the deep pines of Sweden. Some quiet places are quiet for a reason, and now I understood why. Eventually, I stumbled onto a narrow path. I followed it until I found our torn-up tent and a backpack. Inside, our map and a gun. Only one magazine. Holding it gave me courage I didn't deserve. I walked toward what I thought was the road, but it followed me, always just far enough back that I couldn't see it clearly. Sometimes it moved above me in the trees. Finally, I saw it in the open, watching me. I screamed at it, rage boiling over my fear. "I'm getting out of here! You hear me, you ugly skull-faced freak!" It chased me. My legs burned. My lungs felt like fire. When I couldn't run anymore, I turned to face it. It wanted me to die like my friends, torn apart, humiliated. I wouldn't give it that satisfaction. I raised the gun to my temple. "That's what you want," I shouted. It stopped, growled, stared, and I smiled. Because for the first time I wasn't afraid. When I opened my eyes again, it was gone. No sound, no movement. I stumbled on until I found the highway. A truck driver picked me up and dropped me at a gas station where I called the police. They never found my friends' bodies. I made it home, but the nightmare never left. Sometimes late at night, when the wind dies and the world goes silent, I feel it watching me again, and I pray the storm never stops. Something is haunting the animals out here. I don't know exactly what it is, but ever since I was a kid, everyone in town has said the same thing. Come home before dark. Don't go near the fence line. We live in Rodendran, Oregon, small town, real quiet, surrounded by deep, endless woods. But the people here, they're not afraid of the forest. They're afraid of what's behind the fence. There's a long, splintered wooden fence that stretches around the town. No one crosses it. No one talks about what's beyond it. And if someone disappears, people don't panic. They just say, "Must have been an outsider," because they didn't know the rule. Never cross the fence. That night, I was late. My friends, they don't believe in the old stories. They laugh about it. They stay out too long, make fun of the rules. But me, I believe. Because I walk home along the path that runs right next to that fence. And that night, something felt off. The road was too quiet, the wind cold. The trees, they felt like they were leaning in, watching me. I kept my eyes down, counted my steps, did not look at the fence, but then I smelled something. Blood. Rotten meat, thick in the air. I turned my head. Blood spattered across the ground inside the fence line. Then I heard it. A low moan. A dying cow. It didn't even sound real, more like a broken engine gasping for life. I wanted to leave. It was already dark. I didn't want to help. But something in me said, go check. So I did. I crossed the fence just a little. And that's when I saw it. Blood everywhere. Organs, flesh, like something tore it apart just moments ago. And then I saw it. A massive black creature, bigger than any animal I've ever seen, leapt into the woods and vanished. Fast. Silent. I froze. But what I saw next was worse. The cow. Still alive. Barely. Its stomach ripped wide open. You could see inside it. Its eyes were pleading. Then I saw them. Two yellow eyes, glowing, watching me from the bushes. A low growl rumbled through the air, deep, hungry. I didn't wait. I ran, back toward the fence. I could hear it behind me, heavy footsteps pounding the dirt. It was chasing me. My heart felt like it was going to explode, but I made it. Jumped the fence. As I scrambled over, something slashed my chest. I hit the ground on the other side and rolled. Then I turned around. It was standing there, tall, massive, on two legs, covered in black fur, pointed ears, sharp teeth. Its arms looked almost human. It wasn't an animal, but it wasn't a man either. It was something else, something ancient. It stood at the fence, growling, clawing, but it didn't cross. It could have, it should have, but something was stopping it. Like the fence wasn't just wood, like it was meant to keep that thing out. That's when I understood. The stories were real. The fence wasn't just a boundary, it was a barrier, something sacred. Or cursed, maybe a spell, I don't know. But I ran home, bleeding, shaking, didn't tell anyone, just locked every door and every window. The scratch wasn't from that thing, it was the barbed wire. And thank God. But I kept the wound, because next time someone says, that stuff isn't real, I'll show them. There's something living beyond that fence. It hunts in the dark, it's fast, it's hungry, and the only thing keeping it away from us is that old, broken fence. So if you ever come to Rodendran and you find yourself walking near the woods, don't cross the fence. Stay on the path. Keep your head down. And if you hear something calling you, don't look. Don't stop. Don't turn around. Because it's still out there, waiting. If you liked this story, give it a like and subscribe. It's free, and it helps me keep making these creepy stories for you. Stay safe there, and don't cross the fence. Good night.